Hello. Thank you for joining us today in our study of the book of Mark. Today we come to the final chapter of the book of Mark, Mark chapter 16. And in this chapter, it details the resurrection and the final instructions and then the ascension of Jesus. Now, as with many things in Mark, it's not very lengthy. It's only going to be about 20 verses. Before we delve into the chapter, I just want to make a brief statement about chapter 16. I know that there are those that argue over whether or not verses 9 through 20 should be a part of this particular chapter or not, whether they were added later, whether they were things that were there. The overwhelming majority of manuscripts have these verses included. And because of that and various other reasons, we are going to include those verses in our reading. The thing about it is, whether they are included or were not originally included, the premises of what they teach and of how they direct things are consistent with the other books of Matthew and Luke, as well as the other teachings of Jesus. And so we are going to look at chapter 16 in the entirety of the way that we have it in most of the manuscript forms in which it appears. And so, with that, let's examine Mark chapter 16, beginning in verse number 1, where there we read, "Now when the Sabbath was past, Mary Magdalene, Mary the mother of James, and Salome brought spices, that they might come and anoint him. Very early in the morning, on the first day of the week, they came to the tomb when the sun had risen. And they said among themselves, 'Who will roll away the stone from the door of the temple for us?' But when they looked up, they saw that the stone had been rolled away, for it was very large. And entering the tomb, they saw a young man clothed in a long white robe sitting on the right side, and they were alarmed. But he said to them, 'Do not be alarmed. You seek Jesus of Nazareth, who was crucified. He is risen. He is not here. See the place where they laid him. But go, tell his disciples and Peter that he is going before you into Galilee. There you will see him, as he said to you.' So they went out quickly and fled from the tomb, for they trembled and were amazed. And they said nothing to anyone, for they were afraid. Now, when he rose early on the first day of the week, he appeared first to Mary Magdalene, out of whom he had cast 7 demons. She went and told those who had been with him, as they mourned and wept. And when they heard that he was alive and had been sent by her, they did not believe. After that he appeared in another form to 2 of them, as they walked and went into the country. And they went and told it to the rest, but they did not believe them either. Later he appeared to the 11 as they sat at the table, and he rebuked their unbelief and hardness of heart, because they did not believe those who had seen him after he had risen. And he said to them, 'Go into all the world and preach the gospel to every creature. He who believes and is baptized will be saved, but he who does not believe will be condemned. And these signs will follow those who believe. In my name they will cast out demons, they will speak in new tongues, they will take up serpents, and if they drink anything deadly, it will by no means hurt them. They will lay hands on the sick, and they will recover.' So then, after the Lord had spoken to them, he was received up into heaven, and sat down at the right hand of God. And they went out and preached everywhere, the Lord working with them and confirming the word through the accompanying signs. Amen. Again, chapter 16 is not a lengthy chapter by any means, but there are several things that are important for us to see and for us to understand out of this chapter. So next time we'll come back and we will look at some lessons that we can glean from the 20 verses of Mark 16. I hope you'll join us then. But until then, have a great day.